Hello again, everybody. Welcome into Autographs TTM. Glad you're here. Quite a few returns this week, so I did have to cut down the information I'm sharing, so this video wasn't 45 minutes long, but definitely enjoy the returns. Comment below if you got a good return this week or you're interested in liking something that I returned. I'd appreciate that. So let's get started. Right, before we jump into the first return, just a couple reminders here. If you're not already, please follow me on Instagram. I post almost daily with my returns. Also, I now have an Etsy store that sells some items that are TTM related. That's laughwithdad.etsy.com. Here's a couple of the items. We've got some mugs and some folders. They're really great items. I've got some of them. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so that you do not miss future videos. All right, let's start with golf today. This is Don January. Don was born in Plainview, Texas on November 20th, 1929, so he is 93 years old. So very nice to get a signed card back from Don. He turned professional in 1956. He has 45 professional wins, 10 on the PGA Tour and 22 for the PGA Tour Champions, and that's actually tied for 7th overall. He won the 1967 PGA Championship and finished 3rd place for the 1967 U.S. Open. There's a golf tournament to this day in Don's name. Was established by his alma mater, the University of Texas. His return came back in a really quick 12 days. So thank you very much, Don. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to move over to softball. So we've got Kat Osterman. Kat was born in Houston on April 16th, 1983. She's 39 years old. She played ball at Texas, and she was a 4-time All-American. She also holds records for wins, ERA, strikeouts, shutouts, no-hitters, whip, and perfect games for the Big 12 Conference. Professionally, she is the career leader in strikeout ratio and no-hitters. In her debut in 2007, she struck out 24 batters in 12 innings. She also won the silver medal in the 2008 games. That return took 99 days. So thank you very much, Kat. Appreciate that. We're going to move over to Hollywood. So here's Kevin Sorbo. Kevin was born in Mound, Minnesota on September 24th, 1958. He is 64 years old. Early on in his career, he did a lot of commercials. His first real acting role was in the soap opera Santa Barbara in 1986. He actually had a couple of roles that he was passed over for, that being Superman, which went to Dean Cain, and the lead in X-Files, which went to David Duchovny. He finally got his big break in the TV show Hercules in 1993, so obviously that picture to the right that he signed is from that movie. He also has a charity called A World Fit for Kids, and in 2001 he was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and donated the $32,000 in proceeds from that appearance to his charity. So what an awesome thing to have happen. That return came back in 71 days. Moving on to football, we have Daryl Moose Johnston, one of my favorite players growing up for the Cowboys. He was born in Youngstown, New York on February 10th, 1966, so he is currently 56 years old. He was drafted by the Cowboys in the 2nd round of the '89 draft, and he only played for the Cowboys, so he played his final game with them in 1999. Here's some stats for Moose: 753 yards, 22 touchdowns, 2,227 receiving yards. He won 3 Super Bowls and appeared in 2 Pro Bowls. He's also gone on, you may be aware, to success in the booth and also in the front office since his departure from the game. He returned this in 26 days, so nice return from Moose. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, here we go. So I have a lot of autographs, but I have to tell you, this is probably now one of my favorites. It came out awesome on this card. It did cost me $10, but well worth the money. Eric was born in Sealy, Texas on September 2nd, 1960. He is currently 62. He was drafted in the 1st round, the 2nd pick in the 1983 draft. He played for the following teams. He played for the Rams from '83 to '87, the Colts '87 to '91, the Raiders in '92, and the Falcons in '93. Here's some career highlights. Unfortunately, I could not include them all. The slide is not big enough. But he was the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was a 4-time rushing yards leader. He was on the 1980s All-Decade team, the 100th anniversary all-time team. He had 2,105 rushing yards in a season. That's a record. He had 248 rushing yards in a playoff game, and he was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1999. Pretty quick turnaround for Eric, 24 days, and again, that did cost $10. So, but well worth it. Thank you very much, Eric. I really appreciate it. All right, sticking with football, we've got Ervin Randell. So he was born in Mumford, Texas on October 12, 1962. He's 60 years old. He was drafted in the third round of the 1985 draft. He played between 85 and 92 with the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. Just some final stats for Ervin. He had 448 tackles, 8 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries. And he's actually the older brother of Hall of Famer John Randell. That return came back in 37 days, so thank you, Ervin. I appreciate that. All right, let's move over to the patriarch of the Manning family, Archie Manning. Alicia Archibald Manning III was born in Drew, Mississippi on May 19, 1949. He's currently 73 years old. He was drafted in the first round, the number 2 pick in the 1971 draft. Played his final game with the Vikings in 1984. He played for the Saints, Oilers, and Vikings. Some career stats for Archie. He had 125 touchdowns, 173 interceptions, 23,911 passing yards, and his completion percentage for his career was 55.2. He is a member of the Saints Hall of Fame and the Saints Ring of Honor. That return came back in 24 days. Looks nice on that card with that thin blue Sharpie. So thank you very much, Archie. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to move over to baseball. So we've got Thad Bosley. So Thad was born in Oceanside, California on September 17, 1956. He started with the Angels in 1977. Played his final game with the Rangers in 90. He played for several teams. He played for the Angels, White Sox, Brewers, Mariners, Cubs, Royals, and Rangers. Some final stats for Thad. He had a batting average of 272, 20 home runs, and 158 RBIs. He played on 2 division champions with the Brewers in 81 and the Cubs in 84. I definitely remember him with the White Sox. He played with one of my favorite players of all time, Chet Lemon. So I do remember him being in the Chicago area as with the Cubs in 84. So that return came back in 16 days. Looks nice with that Sharpie on that card. So thank you, Thad. I appreciate that. Sticking with baseball, we're going to go to Al Bumbry. So Al was born in Fredericksburg, Virginia on April 12, 1947. So he's currently 75 years old. Debuted with the Orioles in 1972. Played his final game with the Padres in 1985. Just some highlights from Al's career. He was the AL Rookie of the Year in 1973. He was a World Series champion in 1983. And he's in the Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame. Some final stats for Al. He had a batting average of 281. 54 home runs, 402 RBIs. That return came back in 19 days. Al also did coach for 3 teams after his playing career ended. So nice signature from Al. Thank you, Al. Appreciate that. All right, more baseball for you. We've got Bill Miller. Bill was born in Maryland Heights, Missouri on March 17, 1971. He is 51 years old. He started with the Giants in 1996 and finished with the Dodgers in 2006, so had a nice long career. He also played for the Cubs and the Red Sox. He was a World Series champion in 2004, had his best year in 2003 with a Silver Slugger Award, and was the AL batting champion. His batting average over the length of his career was 291. He had 85 home runs and 493 RBI. That return came back in just a little over a month, so great return to get back from Bill Miller. More baseball, Israel Sanchez, probably not the most well-known player, but he was born in Falcon, Cuba on August 20th, 1963. So he's currently 59 years old. He debuted with the Royals in 1988. Played his final game with the Royals in 1990, so only played with the Royals. Some final stats for Israel. He was 3-2 with a 5.36 ERA and 19 strikeouts. And his return came back in 34 days. So thank you very much, Mr. Sanchez. All right, here's the list of folks I'm sending out to this week. Fortunately, I'm running out of stamps. I need my Christmas present so I can get more stamps. So only sending a couple out this week. We've got Patrick Ramsey, who's a football player, as well as John Freeze, both quarterbacks. Glendon Rush, a baseball pitcher, pitched for the Cubs and the Royals. Steve Rogers, a baseball player, and R.A. Dickey. So hopefully that one's coming back. He's more of a modern player, and I'm hoping that I'm going to send a couple to him. Hopefully those come back. So hopefully you're sending out to a lot of good folks this week. If you have anybody you're sending to, go ahead and drop it down in the comments, and we'll talk about it. All right, so it's time for my collection. This one's kind of maybe a more regional one if you're a Bears fan or in the Midwest, or we're a fan of the 85, 84, 86 Bears in there somewhere. This is Gary Fensick on the left there, Doug Plank on the right, both defensive backs who were big, heavy hitters here in Chicago, very popular. I thought this was a very cool autograph to get. I love the orange on that black and white background, so a very cool photograph. Not one that everybody would appreciate, but I do as a Bears fan. So hopefully you enjoy it as well. All right, here's last week's Identify the Autograph. Didn't get any guesses on it, but this autograph is Craig Kimbrell. So pitcher, still active. Interesting autograph, not horrible, not a really bad autograph, but definitely one nobody was able to get. So we're going to show you the next one. Here's the next one. All right, see if you can guess it. So here is the autograph for this week. Take a look at it. If you know who it is, drop some comments or some suggestions in the comments below. Let me know what you think. All right, that's it for this week. Don't forget, follow me on Instagram at autographs_TTM_Bob. Check out my new Etsy store at laughwithdad.etsy.com. You can pick up some of these great items. And don't forget to like and subscribe this channel so that you don't miss any future videos. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, may your returns be plentiful and your mail carrier think you're crazy. Take care, everybody.